Have you ever finally had a free evening with no urgent messages, no deadlines, and no one asking for anything? Nothing you absolutely have to do right now. And instead of feeling peaceful, you feel guilty. You sit on the couch, try to watch something, and try to enjoy the silence. But somewhere in the back of your mind, a small voice starts whispering, "You should be doing something. You are wasting time. Other people are working harder. You have not earned this." So you reach for your phone and check your email. You clean something that does not need cleaning. You open a notebook and make a plan you do not really need. Or you simply sit there, unable to rest and unable to work, caught in the exhausting place between action and recovery. And then you blame yourself. Maybe I am lazy. Maybe I am undisciplined. Maybe something is wrong with me. But psychology suggests something very different. You are not lazy. You are not broken. And you are not bad at resting. Your nervous system may have simply learned that stillness is unsafe. For some people, rest does not feel like peace. It feels like danger. Not because rest is dangerous, but because the brain has been trained to connect safety with movement. To understand this, we have to look at survival. Your brain is not designed mainly to make you happy. It is designed to keep you alive. For most of human history, being useful to the group was one of the safest things a person could be. If you gathered food, protected the fire, or helped the tribe survive, you had a place. You belonged. And belonging was not just emotional. Belonging was survival. To be accepted meant food, warmth, protection, and safety. To be rejected could mean danger. So your brain built a very old rule. Usefulness meant safety. Action meant belonging. Productivity meant protection. Even though you are not living in a prehistoric tribe anymore, your nervous system may still run that ancient program. That is why doing nothing can feel so threatening. Not because your modern life is actually in danger, but because some deep part of your brain hears silence and asks, "Am I still valuable if I am not producing?" This is where guilt begins. Normal guilt appears when we believe we have done something wrong. But rest guilt can appear when you have done nothing wrong at all. You simply stopped moving. You simply paused. And your brain treated that pause like a violation. The problem is not laziness. The problem is that your internal alarm system is confused. It has mistaken recovery for failure. Think of your nervous system like a smoke detector. A healthy smoke detector reacts when there is real smoke. But a detector that is too sensitive starts screaming when you make toast. That is what happens when a person has lived too long under pressure. The brain becomes trained to expect consequences. If I stop, something bad will happen. If I rest, I will fall behind. If I slow down, people will be disappointed. If I am not useful, I will be abandoned. Eventually, the brain stops waiting for real danger. It creates the danger itself. A quiet room becomes suspicious. An empty calendar feels threatening. A slow morning feels like a mistake. And rest begins to feel like evidence that you are doing life wrong. This often begins when love becomes connected to performance. Maybe you were praised when you achieved, when you were helpful, and when you were responsible. Maybe you were praised when you did not cause problems and made other people's lives easier. Maybe no one directly said, "You are only lovable when you are useful." But your nervous system heard the pattern. It learned that being good meant being convenient. Being worthy meant being productive. Being safe meant staying ahead of disappointment. So even now, as an adult, rest can bring up an old fear. The fear that if you are not doing something, you are not enough. This is why rest guilt feels so personal. It is not just about unfinished tasks. It is about identity. If you have spent years being the strong one, the responsible one, or the reliable one, rest can feel like losing your role. Who are you when you are not solving anything? Who are you when no one needs you? Who are you when you are not proving your value? For some people, productivity became emotional armor. As long as they were busy, they did not have to feel uncertain. As long as they were useful, they did not have to ask whether they were loved. As long as they were moving, they did not have to sit with the quiet ache underneath it all. This is why rest can sometimes feel worse before it feels better. When the noise stops, the feelings catch up. The sadness you ignored, the exhaustion you postponed, the fear you covered with achievement, and the loneliness you buried under responsibility. Rest does not create those feelings. Rest reveals them. And because you do not know what to do with them, your brain tells you to get busy again. Clean the room. Answer the message. Start another plan. Scroll until you cannot hear yourself think. Anything but silence. But your body was never designed to live in constant output. Even the most powerful machine needs cooling time. A phone that never charges eventually dies. A field that is never allowed to rest stops producing fruit. A muscle that never recovers does not become stronger. It becomes injured. You are not an exception to nature. You are part of nature. Every living system has rhythms: effort and recovery, focus and release, day and night. Rest is not the opposite of growth. Rest is one of the conditions that makes growth possible. But modern culture has made rest look suspicious. We live in a world that turns every moment into an opportunity for optimization. If you are walking, you should be listening to a podcast. If you are eating, you should be replying to messages. If you are resting, you should at least be doing productive rest. The modern world has turned the ancient fear of being useless into a lifestyle. Now, even recovery has to justify itself. We do not simply rest. We recharge so we can perform better. But if rest only matters because it makes you more productive, then you have not escaped the machine. You have only made rest another employee of productivity. Real rest begins when you allow yourself to exist without immediately turning that existence into output. That can feel uncomfortable at first because your brain may not believe you. So you do not start by forcing yourself into perfect peace. You start by retraining the alarm system. First, name the guilt. This is rest guilt. It is an old alarm. It is not a command. Second, show your brain completion. Write down 3 small things you finished today. Third, start with 5 minutes of intentional rest. No phone, no task, no improvement. You are training a new association. Stillness can be safe, and nothing bad happens when you pause. Rest is not something you earn after becoming enough. Rest is one of the ways you remember that you were already enough.